It's good to see everybody. It's Tuesday. Tuesday's the day when you get paid back from the guy who borrowed the money for the cheeseburger last week. Or the hamburger. Hello? Who was the guy? If you loan me the money for a hamburger today, I will gladly repay you Tuesday. Who said that? Anybody remember? It was a cartoon.
Don't know.
I think it was Popeye.
No, it was Brutus or something like that.
Not Popeye himself, but the cartoon Popeye. Yeah, I think there was a character in there.
Brutus or something like that.
Always wanted money for a hamburger today. He would gladly repay you on Tuesday. Well, today's Tuesday.
Back then, those cartoons were in black and white.
Yeah. Yep. I remember. Of course, I was born when color TVs were around, but I do remember watching reruns. It's good to see everybody here. Steve and Bob and Addie and Larry and Mark, and there'll be some others come on in and join us today. I want to take some Q&A today, but also want to share with you maybe some deal strategies, some things that I look at, the 5 things that I have to have in order to make a lease option deal work. But we have Bob Vieira here. Bob is our universalshortsales.com guy. He is our resident short sale expert. Okay. And why do you need a resident short sale expert? Well, you need a resident short sale expert because short sales can be pretty much a whole strategy all to itself, and can be quite time consuming and maybe difficult to navigate. I don't know how Bob would describe that, but It is a complete strategy all its own. So normally when you run in as a real estate wholesaler, you run into these leads that are underwater, meaning they're over leveraged. They owe more than the property's worth, and they're in default. Normally that's just a dead lead. Can't do much with that. Normally we're looking for somebody that we can either do a ugly house discounted deal with or a pretty house creative deal. But if they're underwater, meaning they're over leveraged, right? They owe more than the property's worth and they're in default, it may be difficult to even do anything creative with them or impossible. So what do? Well, until you meet a guy like Bob, you throw those leads away. Okay. But now you have a resident short sale expert, Bob Vieira from universalshortsales.com. And Bob, he works with you for free. And how you doing, Bob?
Doing good. How you doing? How's everybody doing? Good?
Good. Doing good.
Right.
Doing good. Moratorium on
what's that?
What were you going to say, man?
No, I was just going to piggyback right off of what you said. You said it perfectly. Whenever there's dead leads you can't do anything with, you could create a pipeline, a secondary income source in your business. So, instead of throwing those leads out, you could still help the homeowner and, create that income source for yourself, that passive income source for yourself.
An idea would be to take maybe one day a month, go to PropStream, go to those people that are in pre-foreclosure and maybe pick a couple pain points, maybe call them one day a month, even just focus just solely on that. That's not a bad idea. What do you think about that idea, Bob? Anybody ever mention that to you?
No. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Especially look too, like if you're in one of these markets where you're seeing a lot of people defaulting on their mortgage, lots of pre-foreclosures, It could be a win-win situation because you could hit that foreclosure list, contact these people that can't pay their mortgage. And if it's a high equity motivated seller, you guys could implement, you guys could assign the deal and implement your primary business strategy, right? Which is assigning the contract.
Yeah.
If they're a motivated seller, but they're underwater, they have negative equity, you could refer them to Universal Short Sales, create that secondary stream of income. So, create a win-win for yourself. And you're still able to help the seller, which is pretty awesome.
Bert and Alicondo showed us exactly the other day where to find them in PropStream. And if you recall, guys and gals, you go to PropStream, you go to your market area, you search that, you pull it up, then you go to the filters and you find pre-foreclosures, and then you cross-pollinate that list with people that have also failed listings. Okay, meaning they're in pre-foreclosure and they tried to sell the house and it didn't sell. Oh, that's seriously motivated. These people have nowhere to turn but God and you. Okay? Basically, it's what it seems like to me. So that's kind of a hot tip. I hope you put that one in your put that arrow in your quiver at least for another day, if not today. But yeah,
Can I
what?
ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Rob, I'm just curious how you do you like negotiate with a bank or how do you resolve that issue with them?
That's
Because I know
exactly
short sales takes forever.
nothing short about a short sale. 100% right. Yeah. So I process right with the bank. We get the whole thing done. You know, pretty much I'm the intermediary between, you know, the seller who's in trouble and their bank that's trying to foreclose on them. So, yep, that's what I
Yeah,
do.
it's a great service that he provides for these folks. It can help them spare them from foreclosure, is what it
Yep.
can do. So when you go to
Okay.
universalshortsales.com, you can register with Bob for free. Universalshortsales.com. And when you come across these leads, you can then connect with Bob with the lead. Bob can take the lead over, work the deal, complete the short sale process, and then when everything is paid out and closed, he can then send you the deal is $500 at that time. So um
Mm.
go do it. It's free. It's another tool in your toolbox. Yep. Bob, they were telling us that they're putting off it's a moratorium extended to the end of March now, right?
Biden just did that. Yeah. Yeah. A
Yeah.
couple of days ago, he just came out with that. Yep. Then March.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's the forecast on the foreclosure market right there. Moratorium until the end of March.
Yeah, I read something really interesting too. The end of 2020, they tallied up all the people that are mortgage delinquent. It's over 2 million people. It's like 2.1 or 2.15.
Wow.
If you think about that number, that's over a million more people than the pre-pandemic level. So I think
Yeah.
it's tricking a lot of people because the moratoriums, like you just said, there's so many moratoriums that are, you know, preventing foreclosures.
Yeah.
So like if you go online and you look at the foreclosure rate, it's at a historic low. So then
Yeah.
you automatically think, oh, there's no foreclosures, life is good. But the only reason there's no foreclosures is because the government is protecting people from
Yeah.
foreclosure. You actually look at the mortgage delinquency, forget about the foreclosure rate. Look at the mortgage delinquency. It is astronomical right now. It's astronomical. The
Yeah.
people that can't pay their mortgage.
Wow. Which means what? Which means? Which means?
So what that means is forget about me. That's not just good for my business. I'm not telling you this so you could refer me deals. You guys should be focused on that because a lot of these people have a ton of equity. So they're going to be super motivated, losing their house, behind on their mortgage. As soon as as soon as the government finally says, look, we can't help you anymore, you have to fend for yourself, which when is that going to be? Who the hell knows at this point? Whenever that comes, if you're in a market that has tons of people with tons of equity, you're going to be able to wholesale the hell out of a lot of these deals. There's going to be
Oh
great
yeah.
opportunity to help people.
I was going to say that, Bob. Thank you for saying that. You know, consider, guys and gals, that you are a very, very in this career choice, in this path here, you are a very, very needed animal. Yeah, you are out here
Yeah.
in the jungle. You're very, very needed. Okay,
Oh, my
you're
phone,
very
sorry.
important. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, my question was like, if a house has a lot of equity, isn't that why the bank will want to try and sell it before, we go into foreclosure or whatever? Because the bank will see that and they want to at least take it, right?
So
Did you hear me?
yeah, on the surface, you're right. You're thinking smart and you're thinking logical. So you're right.
It's breaking.
But the problem is the bank doesn't think smart and logical. The bank isn't like you. The bank isn't a real estate investor. The bank does not want to own properties. They don't want to foreclose on them. They want nothing to do with the real estate business. Remember, the bank's in the mortgage business. They want to hold the paper on the house,
Right.
not the actual house.
Yeah.
So while you're right, hot market, tons of equity, they don't really give a damn, to be honest. So, they're
Yeah.
still not going to be motivated to foreclose because there's a lot of equity, because they're not a real estate investor.
To get that house off their books frees up other monies for them to be able to lend and so on and so
Yep.
forth. Yeah.
100%. That
Yeah.
100%. That's just debt.
Yeah.
That's just bad debt on their books. 100%.
Yeah.
Just like any business, like think about your business. If you have, like, if you're losing money, if you have a factor of your business that's hemorrhaging money, you want to get rid of that. You want to eliminate it, whether it's wasting money
Yeah.
on marketing or, operating costs, whatever it is. It's the same thing with the bank. They're holding bad debt and they want to get it off their
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. Good question.
Yeah,
great
question.
answer too, Bob. Thank you. Any other questions or anything for Bob, guys, about short sales or anything going on in that realm? Bob's our resident short sale expert. He stops by every Tuesday for about 10, 15 minutes, sometimes longer if we if we engage him.
Hey, I just wanted to say, Bob's working with us. Connor, he's doing one with Connor, my son, and he is like on it. It's awesome. So we're loving Bob.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate that.
Bob's a great guy, and he's a wonderful part of this club. So thank you for being there for us, Bob. And we look forward to seeing you next week. If you need Bob, you know how to find him. He's in the VIP. Okay. All you have to do is tag him in there on Facebook or the chat room if you're a one-on-one student of mine. But Bob, universalshortsales.com is where it starts for you and Bob. So go there and get signed up. He'll give you a little ebook. I like the one on how to talk to the seller. Okay. You can pick the other one if you want, but you get a choice. And so he's all about helping you get where you want to go with this idea too. So anyway, Bob, love you. Thanks for being here, man. We'll see you next week, dude. Unless anybody has anything else for Bob.
Yes.
Last chance.
Hey, Mark, is that the Texas lead, Mark? That was the one in Texas, right?
I don't know. Connor's the one that you were working with. Connor, he's my son. We're partners. Yeah. So
Okay,
I'm not
cool.
sure where it's at.
Cool. Yeah, I know that one. Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah, you talked to him, I guess, the other day or something. So
Yeah. I think I know which one.
Really appreciate all the follow-ups you do, dude. That's awesome.
You got it, man.
That's great. I love to hear it, man. Super good. All right, Bob, you take care, man. We'll see
All right,
you next
everybody.
week.
Have a great week.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. Larry and Mark and Addie and Philip and Steve and Joe and Anthony and Rick. Good to see everybody here. Miss everybody that's not here too. If you're catching the replay there in the Facebook group, we miss you. Okay. Well, some of you I really do miss because I ain't seen you in a minute. And you know who I'm talking about. So come on back, plug in with us here. Let's role play. Let's get you unfrozen. Okay. You know what happens? I was talking about this with somebody the other day, and it happens to everybody. So don't beat yourself up. But what happens is, you hear a professional athlete sometimes refer to it this way. When you hear a pitcher say, my arm's iced over. Okay. It's iced over, right? He's not in any ready condition to do any pitching. That's what he's saying. All right. Now that sometimes if we're not pitching regularly, and we're not taking care of ourselves and our business, we ice over a little bit. So you freeze up. You ever feel frozen? Like I need to get started again. I can't for some reason. I can't move. Yeah. Been there, done that. Everybody has. So you're not alone, but being frozen, it's not the path to success. So you're going to have to break out of that. Well, So anyway, today I want to take some questions and answers too, but I want to share with you some concepts, some ideas, and some strategies that maybe will enlighten you, maybe will educate you if you're brand new and new to the business or new to these pretty house ideas. I want to share with you 5 things that I have to have in a deal in order for it to work. And I have 3 snapshots in my mind that they're kind of like filters that I run things through. And I'm going to go through that so that you kind of know my thought process when I'm on the phone with a homeowner and I'm talking to him about his home and his situation or her situation. And I'm trying to determine, is this going to fit a lease option strategy for me in my business? Okay, so I'm going to kind of walk through that so that you guys can have a little more experience in thinking through how this works and how this could work for you when you're on the phone with a homeowner and so on and so forth. But before we jump into that, is there any pressing questions or any pressing topics of interest that we need to address here in your business? Anything? Okay, guys. All right. Feel free to talk while we're, jumping into this topic, but I'm going to go to a slick board here and I'm going to put some words up here. Now, when we're talking about lease options, there's 5 things that I really, really need. Okay. 5 things that I really, 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 really need. And we're going to talk about those today. And we're going to talk about how when you're on the phone with a homeowner, you find out this information and you kind of see if an offer can be made to the guy as a lease option. Does that make sense where I'm coming from? Somebody give me some feedback.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, so let's take a few scenarios here. I find things to usually fall into one of these 3 categories. All right. Usually it's a 12-month rental, or let me put rental there so we don't forget, or it's a 24-month rental, or it's a 36-month rental. All right. Let me take out some spaces here. Okay. We talk a lot in perspective of a 24 or 36-month lease, don't we? Anybody give me feedback? You guys can unmute your mics.
Yes.
We talk about a
Yes.
lot. You hear me refer to a 24 to 36-month lease.
Yep.
Okay. Can you do a 12?
That's tight, in
Sure,
my opinion.
you can do a 12. Sure, you can. So you have a 12, a 24, or a 36-month possibility here in my mind. This is the typical deal that I do. Okay, so don't try to take my words here and make them the general rule for everything in all places. I'm just showing you kind of the thought process for the deals that I do that you can go out and mimic, you can imitate. All right, so we have a 36. Let me move this. This video stuff gets in my way. Okay. Let me move it down here to the bottom. 36-month rental, 12-month rental, or 24-month rental. Now, each one of these is going to have a little bit different specifications to them. So let's talk through them as we go through them. Okay. A lot of people popping in here. All right. Now, let's talk about how deep we can go. And let's talk about as far as purchase price, and let's talk about what our markup could be. What's our possible profits? All right. Now, there's a formula I want you to be aware of. Okay. I'm going to mark up this property, the fair market value plus FA. Okay. Future appreciation. Fair market value plus future appreciation. Now that's a 12-month rental. Does that make sense? Fair market value plus plus future appreciation.
Very fair.
Okay, so if it's $100,000 today, fair market value of that house, and over the next 12 months, it's going to appreciate 2.7%. Okay, then I know I can really mark this property up fair market value plus that future appreciation of 2.7%. That's really about the limit. Okay, I might be able to stretch it to an average of 3.5 maybe. Okay, so the margins are smaller over here on the 12-month side. That's why I'm always trying to go for a 24 to 36 month, because the margins are smaller. Now on this 24-month stuff, I'm still going to do the same thing, and I'm going to mark it up fair market value plus future appreciation. How do I know what the future appreciation is for 24 months? How do I know what the future appreciation is for 12 months? Somebody tell me.
You can look in the market. You can go on the internet and check out statistics, I guess.
You can go to Zillow, or you can go to PropStream or some of these other tools, and they'll give you estimated future appreciation. Okay. What happens if you go check out a property and the estimated future appreciation is a negative number?
It's not a good deal then.
Hang it up. That's not a deal. Philip's right. Okay. What happens if you go over there and the estimated future appreciation is 1%, 0.7%, 0.8%?
There's not going to be enough beef in there, meat in there.
Not unless this is a big deal. Right? All right. It could be if it's $1 million house, maybe. Okay. That might be worth doing. But, you know, not in your bread and butter neighborhoods, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Okay. So you can find that out on Zillow or on PropStream or some of these other tools. Now on the 36 month, I'm going to do the same exact thing, except I have to do fair market value plus the future appreciation of 36 months. Okay. What am I figuring out here? What am I solving for? That equation, FMV plus FA equals what?
Your profit.
My tenant buyer's price.
Right. What I can sell it for.
Right? My tenant buyer's price. It's also going to tell me what kind of profits I'm working with, because really my profits are where in this equation? What side, the FMV or the FA?
The FA.
The FA. Yeah. The future appreciation is where my profits are locked in. So I need to do, in a property analysis, I need to do a little checky check to see, one, if this property is in a crime zone on Trulia.com. If it's in a crime zone, what do? Drop it, because it sucks. It sucks. All right. You can't live there without having your iPod stolen out of your car at night, and your stereo and your subwoofer and whatever else you have. Okay. So bad neighborhood, don't do it. What if you go to Trulia.com and the neighborhood's pretty good? You go over there to Zillow and you check the future appreciation, and it's appreciating at 3.8% per year. What do you think about them apples? What's how do you figure up then what the 12-month rental FMV plus FA would be? You take the fair market value, let's say it was 100,000, and then you're going to add what?
3.5 or whatever that appreciation was.
Yeah, 3.7% in this case. Yeah. Now, how am I going to do it on a 24-month? This is just math, guys. That's all I'm asking.
Times it by 2?
Yeah. It would be FMV plus FA times 2. Right. Exactly, Mark.
Well,
And then this is going to be FMV plus FA times 3.
well,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
mm.
So your profits are going to be in this number, the FA, whether that's FA, FA2, or FA3, doesn't matter.
Right.
That's where your profits are. All right. Here's another thing we need to look at. Asking price. All right. 12 months. Asking no more. Okay. He's asking, let's see, how do we say that? Less than or equal to fair market value. That's my maximum. That's my maximum offer. If a guy wants me to do a 12-month lease option deal with him, I can't really pay him more than fair market value, can I? Somebody explain to me why.
You're not gonna be able to sell it.
We will
Well,
have no.
somebody was going to spit it out. What was that?
We will have no profit.
I would have no profits. Yeah. Because remember, on a fair market plus FA, 12 months, if I'm going above FMV on purchase price, I'm eating into my profits and they're slim already. Yeah. They're only 3.7% this year, remember? So 3.7%, if I end up giving this guy, 102%, well, I'm not making much. Okay, so fair market value is the ceiling for me on a 12-month deal. On a 24-month deal, the purchase price, maximum purchase price I'll go is less than, wait a minute, how do I do the less than, or equal to FMV plus 0.5 FA. Somebody explain that to me. That's my formula.
So you're adding 0.5 on top of the fair market value for
For the future appreciation.
future appreciation.
In other words, I'll split the future appreciation with a guy, but nothing more than that. In country boy terms, I'll split my option fee with him, my future appreciation option fee. I'll split that with the guy. On a 24-month deal, sure, why not? I get a whole half of that. Yeah, that's fine. I'm talking maximums here, guys. It's got to be less than or equal to that. I won't go beyond that. Okay. And the same principle applies over here with 36 months. It's going to be less than or equal to FMV plus
1%.
half of FA. Okay. This is what I'm comfortable with, at least. Wait a minute, I hit the caps button. There we go. So does this make sense so far, what I'm saying? Or is this confusing everyone?
So it makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
Okay. Now let's talk about something else that's going to bring up some questions. Must be low or no down payment. This is the third thing. Or fourth thing. Third thing.
But
Must be
Justin,
low or no down payment. Yes.
you're making profit on the monthly rents from your tenants, though, right?
Not in an assignment. I should have said that up here. Let me add that right here. This is an assignment deal. So in other words, this is not a sandwich. We're just assigning this over to the tenant buyer. Okay. In my mind, I was thinking assignment deal and I'm thinking virtually. Okay. So I'm thinking not even in my home market here. This is the type of deal that I like to do and that I do frequently.
Kind of
Often.
wholesaling the lease option.
Yes, I'm wholesaling the lease option. Correct. Correct. Okay. Why do I say must be low or no down payment due to seller? Somebody help me out. Why is this a mandatory rule for me?
This is more profit in your pocket.
Yeah. Yep. Anybody want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, the more the down payment, the less you put in your pocket, basically.
Warning.
You're taking out of your pocket up front.
You cannot give away and pay more than FMV. Does that make sense? You cannot give away, in other words, more than the property's worth in purchase price plus a bunch of cash and down payment. Where are you going to get it at? You're not going to have any profits left. Okay. So, in other words, if the homeowner wants 100% of fair market value, how much down payment am I going to be okay with giving him?
One half of 1% for the first 12 months.
I'm okay with, personally, I'm okay with giving him half of the future appreciation as far as down payment goes. In other words, half of that down payment that I can collect. I'm okay with splitting it with a guy, with a homeowner, if I need to get a deal done. I'll do
No,
that.
but no more than that.
But I can't split the down payment and be at 105% of fair. Okay.
Yeah, Mom.
It's not going to work out.
Situation.
You know what I mean? So you have to have a balance here between down payment and how far you are over fair market value, for sure. Because I'm only playing with the future appreciation. That's all I'm playing with. I can't give it all away, can I? Where can I give it away at? In the purchase price? In the down payment? Or a combination of the two? Does that make sense, guys? Have I lost you?
A little bit.
So hey, do it like if it was $100,000 deal.
Okay.
Like show the numbers how that would work.
Okay. Let's try that. Let's try $100,000. 100K plus future appreciation. Let's say, let's guess that future appreciation, make it real easy, at 3.5%. Okay. So we're talking about $103,500, right? That would be my future appreciation. So I'm looking for a profit of $3,500 here in 12 months for a 12-month deal. I mean, I'm looking for it up front, but okay. So I'm going to mark this up for my tenant buyer I'm going to get it under contract for 100. I'm going to mark it up to 103,500 for my tenant buyer. All right. So I have to get it at full market value. I mean, or less. I can't, if I get it any more than 100, then I'm eating into my 3,500. You follow me?
Yes.
If I get him at 100, but the guy wants me to shell out a bunch of cash, I'm eating into my 3,500 here again. Okay. So you're going to give up your profits in either purchase price by going over or by having to give him a bunch of cash. So here's kind of the general rule. This line here, purchase price for a 12-month rental, I won't go beyond fair market value because it just makes it too skinny. 12 months, it's the same thing, except it would be, instead of 3,500, it would be 7,000. Okay, over here. So 100,000 plus 7. Let's say, what was it? 7%, 7K. So that's 7K. So 107K. I've got it under contract. let's say at fair market value, I'm going to mark it up to 107 for my tenant buyer. Okay. For a 24-month rental. But if the guy is not willing to do 100K, I would be willing to go up to 103,500. Why?
It's
Why?
Half
You're
of
still getting
your
your 3.5
7%.
after that.
Because I'm still going to make
Because
$3,500. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. On a 36 month, I've got $100,000 house, and I'm going to add to it a full 10%, let's say. All right. So I'm going to mark it up for my tenant buyer to 110,000. All right. Or whatever 3.5 times 3 is. Okay.
And then you're still willing to do half of that if they need a down payment.
But I would be willing to go as far as 105,000 with the seller if it made the deal work. Because why? I'm still going to make $5,000. Okay, does that make sense? But the warning here is you cannot go in deep on the purchase price like that and agree to give down payment too. Okay, you can do a little bit beyond purchase price and a little bit of down payment, but you can't give 5% beyond purchase price and also 5% in cash. And okay, you know what I mean? So you can give them everything they want, but you can't go crazy like they won the lottery. All right. That's the beauty of this deal. And when you see what I'm doing on the phone with these people, I'm asking myself immediately on the phone, 12, 24, 36. Okay. Appreciation, fair market value plus appreciation. How much money is that? Okay. That's what that is. What can I get it for purchase price? Can I get him at fair market value? I can. Awesome. I'm going to give him everything this property's worth. I'm not going to beat him up on price or nothing. And he's going to let me do this for 24 months. I'm going to make 3.5%. Okay. Boom. Property analyzed. Okay.
And you're getting the full market value from your comps, right? Or prop stream or whatever.
Yeah. You don't just take their word for it. Right. So you have to,
Right.
you'll have to do your own due diligence here and check PropStream or Zillow or whatever tool you're using. All right, here's the fourth thing here. The monthly payments have to be equal to or less than the fair market rent. What do I mean when I say that, guys?
But the rent is in the fair market at the time.
Yeah. In other words, if the neighborhood's renting for $1,000 a month,
$2,000 a month.
I cannot agree to give this guy $1,500 a month.
Like my landlord, he's charging me $1,650, but the market rent's only $1,200.
Wow.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I told him that too, but he didn't. Well, you had to do what you got to do to move from your deal to go to another deal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, this monthly payment thing is a deal maker or a deal breaker. Okay. All right. If it's too high, I can't do it. It's a dead deal to me.
Yeah.
If it's too low, what happens next?
It's a dead
To
deal
do
too.
a sandwich.
If it's too low, I may want to stick around and do a sandwich. Yeah. Right? Okay. Now, the last thing, number 5. I know they're not numbered here, but number 5 here, the 5th thing I got to have is the seller has to be motivated enough to do the deal with me. All right.
That's the big thing.
So there's 2 nuggets I want to leave with you here. When you're on the phone, you want to define actually, the first thing you want to do is you want to enter the conversation right where he's at in his head already. He has thoughts about this house and about what he needs and what he's trying to do and what he's got to do and what so-and-so said about what he has to do. He's got something, he's got a dialogue about this thing in his mind already. We need to jump in and pick up right where he's thinking. How do we do that? By asking questions. We start out by asking the why question. How long have you lived there? Why would you be wanting to sell now? Well, I've lived there for 8 years. Oh my gosh, 8 years. You must feel like home. Why are you leaving now? I'm entering the conversation where he is. I'm not trying to get him on my train. Okay. Number 2, I'm going to define his or her problem. I need to ask enough questions to understand and be able to define what his situation and problem is. If you're making offers without doing this, you're going to get a lot of rejections. Okay. Your offers are going to be a miss. They will miss the mark. Okay. Now, the third thing that you need to do here is agitate the problem. Agitate it. Stroke his pain with your finger. Okay. When you do that, these offers, they're not beating them up on price. In many cases, I can even go beyond purchase price. Okay. I might even be able to peel off a little bit of cash for them and down payment. They really don't have any good reasons to say no. All right. Plus, they like me. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I'm shooting straight with them.
Yeah,
I'm not coming
I guess
off.
so.
I'm not coming off all salesman-y and like I'm trying to sell them a used car I have. Okay. It's not like that.
No,
It's not like
trying to use the fingers.
Yeah. In a hot market, you may try this. When you get to the end of the conversation and the guy says, cash, sure, make me an offer. I'm ready to do something today. And you say, well, cash, what do you got to have? He says, I got to have this. And you know it's not an ugly house deal. You say, well, I guess it's not going to be a good fit for me. How about we just take this off the table, call it over? And real quick, though, before I go, if I were able to give you that full market value and you could even peel off a little bit of money of the down payment, would you consider doing something with me creative for the next 24 to 36 months? Do you see what I'm asking the guy?
Yeah.
I'm asking the guy, hey, can I make money on this? If you're okay with it, I'll make a little bit of money, but I want this to be a solution for you too. Okay. So I have a student that like kind of snapped on the phone one day. Well, we were on a Zoom call one-on-one and I was talking about some of these things. And he said, man, he's like, I don't know why I didn't get it until now. He's like, you are offering these people full price and sometimes beyond. I said, yeah, you can do that. Yeah. He said, now I know why they say yes. It's like, yeah. Now I know why when you get on the phone with them and they say, I've talked to every other investor in town this week and I hate investors, you're going to lowball me again. And I know it, don't waste my time. And I say, you're going to love me.
That's it.
Because I can go full price and even a little beyond if I have to. And I know that right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So take the roadblocks down out of your mind. All right. Practice a little bit with this analytics stuff. All right. And you can get the swing of it too. You'll get the swing of it too. But it's fun making offers. It's fun making full price offers.
Yeah.
What if you've got a homeowner who's like, hey, full price, but I'm still on the fence and all this. What is it, sir? What is the real issue here? well, I don't know. I've got another person that I was thinking about doing this with, and blah blah. Sir, is it the money? If I went just a little bit, if I went a little bit deeper for you, see, now you're talking crazy. You're going beyond what they're asking, what it's worth. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it, and I've done it many times. Sure. So, take the handcuffs off, guys. Here, you can put these deals together, but I don't have any special sauce for the guy who wants 180,000 when his house is only worth 150 or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I got nothing for that guy.
Yeah. That's it.
That's nuts.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hope that was helpful a little bit. Maybe confusing. If you're confused, let's go back to it. We have some time. Let's jump into it and ask your questions. Let's dissect here a little bit and make sure you go away with what you need. Anything I can help you guys with on some of this stuff? You got questions on it? How it works?
Question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. A little bit.
When I guess I'm trying to. Okay, so when you're talking to the seller, I thought that we were trying to get in with whatever their payment was, like their monthly payment, the mortgage or whatever. I thought we were trying to get in for what their payment is, as far as down payment.
As far as, yeah, you mean you want to, if a seller wants down payment, you want to try to make it equal to 1 month's rent?
Yeah, 1 month's rent
Yeah.
plus maybe deposit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. I go through that negotiation with everybody that wants to talk about down payment. Sure. How much down payment are you needing, sir? Role play with me here, LaShonda. How much down payment are you needing, sir?
My mind just went blank. $1,000.
Oh, you need $1,000 down. Okay. And this is non-refundable?
Yes, it's non-refundable. So I want 1,000 down and then 1,000 rent.
Okay.
Rent is 1,000 and then I need $1,000 down.
Okay. So in our example here, let's share screens.
Okay.
So you guys can know what my thought process is here. She wants $1,000 down. Even if it's a 12-month deal at $1,000 down, can I do $1,000 down? That's only 1%.
Right.
I'm playing around with 3.5 here in future appreciation over the next 12 months. I can definitely peel her off 1K. So watch what I do. LaShonda.
Yes.
That's I understand where you're coming from with that, but I was thinking something maybe a little bit more reasonable. Is there anything more reasonable we can come to other than just a straight, clean, even 1,000? I mean, that's a short stack,
What did you have in mind?
Could we halfy? Could we do half?
Well, the mortgage is $1,000. So if we do half of that, then that means I'm not covering my payment.
All right, you're twisting my arm here, but you know what? You're also preaching to the choir, and I'm right here. I'm your amen corner. So here's what I'm thinking. If I change the agreement right here to say that you get $1,000 when we exchange keys, and I'll never get that $1,000 back, it's non-refundable to you. Does that mean we have a deal?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Say it again. I couldn't hear you.
So yes, pretty much.
Pretty much. What do you mean? Pretty much.
We'll have a deal if you can give me $1,000 a month and then the $1,000 down.
Okay, so we're good on the $1,000 down. If I change the agreements, you're okay with that part, right?
Yep, I'm fine with that.
$1,000 a month. Okay, what is my rule over here? Monthly payment has to be equal to or less than the fair market rent. So what does that mean I have to do? I have to put the address in to Rentometer or PropStream or someplace like this. Sometimes Zillow has a rent estimate. and I have to get the rent estimate for the neighborhood. And if I find the rent estimate is $1,200, it's more than $1,000 because that's what she's wanting, right? So I'm good because it's less than or equal to the fair market rent. $1,000 is less than $1,200. If I go and I find the fair market rent is $750, what do I do?
And negotiate with
If
her.
it's 750, if the fair market rent is 750 and I'm wanting 1,000, then I'm over.
You're
So
over.
I would try
You're
to
over quite a
negotiate that
bit.
person down. I would tell them, I would use it as a pain point and say, well, you know, in that area, the rents, the market rents in that area is going for 750, and you wanting me to give you 1,000. So I would use that and try to get me down.
Yeah. You definitely would want to negotiate that too. Or you might find yourself in the position of having to walk away from the deal because it's going to be very difficult to find a renter, even a rent to owner, to come in and do $1,000 a month when it's only $750 neighborhood. Okay. It's going to be hard. It's going to be real hard. I couldn't hear you, LaShonda. You
I was
cut out.
dealing with. I'm sorry.
You were cutting out for some reason. I couldn't hear
Oh,
you.
okay. I had a situation with a seller. She wanted $4,000 for a $645,000 house, but when I looked it up in Renometer and a couple of other places, they were going. That particular area was going for like 20. We'll just say 3,000 up to 3,200. So I got her to come down to 4,000, but she wouldn't budge no less than that. So I just told her, well, hey, I can't. It's no way that I'm gonna put anyone in here for over the market value. I mean, for the over the rent. Like,
Yeah,
that's not gonna work.
exactly. And it would be very difficult too. If you find a bread and butter house, 3-bedroom, when I say bread and butter, I mean in the median home price range. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage. In most places in the country. It may be something different if you're in some exotic place. But this is standard bread and butter, 3-bedroom, 2 bath, 2-car garage, about anywhere between 900 and 1,300 square feet generally. 900 would be pretty small, 3-bedroom, wouldn't it? But that's kind of the, people don't like to buy houses. Investors, I find, less than 900 square feet. So when you find a bread and butter like that, here's a gold nugget for you. If it's bread and butter, use the standard lease option, the beefier one. If it's not bread and butter, use the flex option. Now, someone tell me why that's my general rule.
Because you want to keep the other one for yourself or for long term? It's bread and butter.
Well,
Anybody keep it for long?
That's a good point, Rick. Yeah. The beefier lease option, the standard lease option, is an exclusive agreement. Because if it's bread and butter, I may keep it for myself, or I know that it's bread and butter and I'm not going to have any problem selling it at all.
Right.
Now, if it's not bread and butter, I'm going to use the flex option memo outside my local market, especially because it's non-exclusive and I can get out of jail real easy. Okay. And it's because it's not bread and butter. I don't know if I'll sell it very, very good, quick and easy. I don't know. It's not bread and butter. You follow me? Okay.
Yes.
So that's kind of a gold nugget rule for you there. But, any other questions, guys, on this stuff? There's good discussions here on this.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, go for it, Rick.
Probably you must have done it before, but how normally you find the fair market value? So where do you go and what do you do? Like go to Zillow or go to PropStream, so different ways to get the fair market value, and where you go to get your rent, because those are the two problems that I face
Yeah.
getting the. I tried Rentometer and all that stuff, but still confused for both
Yeah.
of them, and for.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to share screens with you here and show you PropStream. You can find a lot of this. Somebody give me an address. You can find a lot of the same information on Zillow, but I like using PropStream. Me and my team, we use PropStream. Somebody give me an address.
4221.
Okay.
Oakland, Oakland.
Okay.
Oakland Avenue,
Okay.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh.
37410.
Gotcha. Okay. So over here on the screen on the right, I'm gonna scroll down. It says here, estimated rent 1,088. Okay. That's why I use PropStream, because it's real easy for me and my team to all have the same information that we're working off of, and it's easily accessible. Now, if I want to find what the real value of this property is, it says average comps 197, but I'm going to click in here and go to details.
Okay.
And then I'm going to slide down to comparables, and I'm actually going to find me some comparables on the MLS. Okay. Or from the MLS records. And then I'm going to come up with a good ARV or good fair market value myself, whichever it may be.
Okay.
Yep. PropStream's it's an investment, but it really does shortcut your your number hunting.
Right. Okay. So instead of going to like Rentometer and different places, PropStream is pretty good on numbers.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. You know, it's not perfect, but pretty good. I was going to say another thing. You have, if you have PropStream, you have that available, but then I also make a habit of asking the homeowner, hey, what do you think that the neighborhood rents for? What the house rents for? If you were renting it, what would you rent it for?
Okay.
Okay. And just see if they kind of confirm the number or in the ballpark. And if that, then if that's the case, then you feel pretty good about it typically, or we do.
Okay.
What's another way to find rent values? You might be able to find some other rental properties in that neighborhood and see what they're listed for.
I have
All
a
right.
quick question,
Yeah,
Jason.
sure.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought like if someone is doing like a lease option, if they want that, they already know that there's a possibility that they're going to be paying a little higher than the rent value, because obviously you're doing them a favor because they don't have good credit,
Yep.
So when, this is my knowledge from lease options, like when you put out an ad for that property, it's specifically not just for regular renters, it's for people looking for lease option with back credit or whatever, and they're expected to pay maybe a little more than the rent. So like
Yeah.
if the area is like 1,500, they're looking to pay maybe 1,700 or something. Is that a normal procedure, or that's 'cause that's what I thought.
Yeah, the concept is sound. They will pay a little more. So let's say in this case, LaShonda wants $1,000 a month. I go to Zillow, I go to PropStream, wherever I find my rent estimate is only $875.
Mhm.
That's $125 off. I can probably swing that though. I can probably find someone willing to go a little deeper, just because it is a rent to own opportunity. Okay.
Right. Mhm.
But I'm not going to be able to find somebody. See, here's the issue is we've all heard the gurus that say, yeah, I put this house under contract for $100,000. The seller wanted $1,000 a month. I was able to place a tenant buyer in this house for $27,000 cash down. Not only that, but they're paying me $1,700 a month in rent. I'm cash flowing $700. Bullshit. Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
That Mario.
Right? We all heard it. We probably all got in the business because we heard it. But the reality is it's more like, you know, it's more like modestly reasonable. Okay. Most people, and it's very, very good pay. I'm not knocking it, but it's not a get rich quick scheme like that comes out to be, right? Like what they make it out to be, where every deal you're cash flowing hundreds and hundreds of dollars because people will just pay all kinds of money for these. Nah, a house is worth what it's worth.
That's right.
And everybody knows
But
it.
the person, yeah, but the person getting the lease option is still gonna come with a down payment, right? No matter how
Yes.
small. They're still
Yes.
expected to put something down.
Yes, they're going to have that money
Okay.
to put into the deal on the upfront on the beginning of the deal. So there's that money for you. And if you assign the deal, you walk away. If you sandwich the deal, typically in these bread and butter situations, if you're sandwiching it, you're sticking around to make 250, 300 a month. You know, just to be honest with you, that's kind of your run of the mill deal. But it's not like every deal I can tie down. I mark up $1,000 and people just throw money at me. You know, it's not like that. I'm talking about monthly wise. Yeah. It's not. This rule is very important. The payment can't be crazy compared to the fair market rent. Right. It just can't be. Because everybody knows that house is worth about $1,000 a month, and if you're asking $1,500, people are going to be like, "What? What's going on, man? I mean, this guy's screwing me." Right. Do you want them to think that? Okay. So, and they're not going to do the deal anyway because they could go somewhere else and rent something way cheaper.
And you know, I've been watching you for 2 years. You know, integrity is important. That's why I love you. You're always talking integrity. You know, you deal. You know, you want people to use your service again. That's the main thing. Yeah. You might make 500 here, but imagine if you had 500 and you got 10 people that want to do the 500. You're looking at good numbers. But if you're over there doing one deal and it screws you up, one person's mouth could screw you up was about 7 people. You know, and then 7 people tell 7 people. Then you got 100,000 people that never would, when you come knock at the door, that people say, "I already know you. I don't want to deal with you," because you're going to be the person in the neighborhood. Even like if you're a realtor, not a realtor, you're the investor in the area. I bet Justin gets calls 24/7, 7/24 because people love his relationship with him. So you really want to you know, if you want to find fair market value, you know, you don't have to be a realtor. Build relationship with a realtor right on the spot. Pick 3 good realtors. Call them up when you're at the deal and say, "Listen, what's the fair market value on that?" A lot of realtors will give free information because they're figuring later down the line you might list your property with them. Yeah. So, and doing pop stream what he said. But integrity is very important. Just do what it is in the market. You get more deals that way. That's all I have to say.
That's great advice. Thank you very much, Rosalind. That's super good advice. You know, I know a guy that gets these deals under contract for long periods of time, or maybe he'll buy a little rental house and he'll put it out there for sale as a lease option. And he'll mark the property up a huge amount, like 20, 30%. And then he'll find a tenant buyer that will do a 10-year, or 8-year, something like 8 years lease option. Okay. So they're going to lease that option from him for 8 years. And there's a clause so they put a big bunch of money down, and there's a clause in the contract that says they cannot buy for the first 7 years. Oh. And then he's jacked the rent up real high too. And he finds people to do that. He does. Now, I can't do that to people. Okay. I can't do that to people. That just feels raw as hell to me. Okay. You know, so, but you know, business is business. I'm not the dummy that said yes to that deal, but that's neither here nor there. You know, I can't do that kind of thing to people. All right. But remember, this whole thing is fluid. It's water. Be water, Bruce Lee. You can negotiate and make any kind of deal you want, man. And if you want to screw people, you can. I'm just encouraging you not to. Okay.
Hey, Justin, I have a question.
Yeah. What's up, LaShonda?
if you we'll take that $100,000. Say for instance you come across a seller and you guys agree on 100,000 as the purchase price. Okay, so on the end you find an end tenant buyer that is wanting to, we'll just say we mark it up 10,000. I'm just using that number. We mark it up 10,000. So that's going to be our fee once we find this end tenant buyer. But the end tenant buyer wants to put 25,000 down. Yeah. And we are not doing a sandwich, we are wholesaling it.
Yeah.
So in a situation like that, what do? Do you tell them not to put the other 15 down?
Yeah, good question. Good question. There's a couple things you can do here. One is you can tell the tenant buyer, keep your money, buy a new couch. Hey, Mr. Tenant Buyer, you know what? If I change the paperwork today and make you guys, I never do this, but my boss is telling me I need to do this. I'm going to do this. Here's what I think. If I send you the paperwork today and we only need half that, can we do this deal today? If not, I'm going to have to take that deal to somebody else. Okay. So I'm using it as a negotiation tool for the tenant buyer. Or I might be able to go back to the seller and renegotiate a little bit with him and use it as a tool and say, hey, listen, we're going to go ahead and do this deal. Can we do a little bit better on the monthly rent? But here's what we want to do in exchange. We want to put down into your pocket $15,000. Is that something that makes you feel more comfortable? Can we knock off a little money on this? And of course, that needs to come off the purchase price because we're putting money in, right? So you use it to negotiate if you can. If there's something in the deal you want, you use it to negotiate, but it will go to one of the two parties. It's not coming to you. Why?
That's what I was trying to understand, because I know, like, if you're doing a sandwich, you could hold on to it and see if they cash out, and then if they don't cash out, their money belongs to you. Is that correct?
Well,
I know you got to put it in another account, and then you have to sit on it. You can't spend it. But if they, we'll just say in 3 years, if they don't cash out like what they supposed to my understanding, I thought, because that's part of the consideration.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the legalities of all that. I've never done it. I don't recommend people do it that way, because it seems to me like you'd still have a paper problem with the seller and how much is due to him and so on and so forth. Plus, I've never been good about not spending money. You know what I mean? If somebody gave me $15,000 too much and I know that I've got to hang on to it for the next 36 months,
right?
Well, there's a good chance I'm going to loan myself that $15,000 over the next. You know what I mean? And now, next thing you know, I got men in black at my front door taking me off to the pokey because I'm some kind of a white collar criminal and I didn't even know. You know what I mean? I don't want that.
Right.
But that's an interesting concept. I've never done it. I'd like to hear somebody more experienced than I tell about that. That would be cool.
Well, I follow Ron LeGrand, and that's what he say. Like, if the end tenant buyer give you more than what you're pulling out or whatever, you're supposed to take that 15,000 and put it in a separate account and not touch it. However, if the end tenant buyer, when that time frame comes and then they don't cash out, then they lose it. It's no different from the tenant that you put in your pocket.
I'm going to ask my lawyer about that. I'm going to see what he says, and I'll tell you what he says.
Okay. I would like to know.
I would like to know too, because that's a wicked, crazy idea.
From my experience of being, listen to different investors worldwide, every state has its own laws, bylaws, and everything. So just read the bylaws of that state. You can create anything, like Justin says. And all of y'all beautiful. I love all of y'all. Thank you so much. Are saying, but the main thing to keep yourself out of trouble, I always tell everybody, go online, look up the laws of real estate, All of it is like 50 pages. Read everything in it, and it gives you all the rules and regulations that people have to follow with the real estate laws in that state. Know it in and out, and then when you create your laws for your deals, you're not going out of the thing. So when you go to court or anything, or you're doing a contract, it's all written in there, and you're covering yourself. So today, all of y'all just go online. It's free. Download all the laws and everything about real estate laws in your state or that state, whatever you're trying to get that property, and read it, and then create your things. LaShonda, you can do what you're doing, but you got to make sure it's okay with that state.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't done it, but I'm sure at some point in
Good advice.
time it's gonna come up.
Good advice. So can you guys go out and make some full price offers today?
Sure.
That's the question. I mean, how hard is it to call somebody and make a full price offer? And you guys know, if they don't like it and they're rude to you, fuck them if they can't take a joke. Right? I always say that. I tell my team that. I tell myself that. I'm telling you that. You're making a full price offer. Hey, fuck them if they can't take a joke. These people, somebody kicked their cat this morning and they're mad at the world. It's not my fault. I'm making a full price offer. Okay? So don't be ashamed of your offer. I think I got the feeling here that some of you get on the phone or you don't get on the phone because you're ashamed that what you're doing is some kind of a sleight of hand, sneaky round the way technique to getting what you want. And it's not. You'd be wrong. You're making full price offers. In some case, more than full price offers. That's a serious business. Okay? And take your offer seriously, and they will have a greater possibility of taking it seriously. All right. Does anybody want to confess and say, Father Justin, I have sinned? I'm just kidding. I have felt guilty and ashamed of my offers.
That's Philip. I've been watching Philip. Philip, that you?
It could be.
Nothing like getting called on the carpet. All right, guys. So we're going to practice role playing tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm going to pop on a little bit tomorrow too. I'm going to start popping on a little bit on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays and showing my ugly face and all that. But
Nice.
yeah. So if you need a little confidence booster and practicing the phone calls to making full price offers, there is a little bit of art to it, and it's okay if you don't know. Nobody knows until they do. And how do we learn things?
Practice.
Practice.
Doing it until
Practice. So
what VA service do you use? I'm sorry.
Say that again, Addie.
What VA services do you use?
Yep, good question. I like a couple, 2 or 3 different ones. One is VA and then the number 4, REI.com. They're pretty good. It will be Philippine virtual assistants. And then there's also Lead Mining Pros. That's really good. And then there's Integria, which is pretty good too. Integria Staffing. Andrea Stakes is her name.
And
So
do you let them make the calls to the seller, or you do that when it comes to negotiation?
Yep. I have an in-house team here that does that. And I started on Upwork.com, finding them. So that's also a place you can go. But there's several ways to do it. You can outsource the entire concept, and Lead Mining Pros and Integria would be good for that. Or you can hire someone, train them, manage them yourself. Upwork would be good for that. VA for REI, they'll hire someone for you, help train them, and then turn them over to you. It's pretty affordable. So it's kind of what you like, what you want, and what you can afford. It's kind of what that whole game's about. Yeah, so practicing is how we get better, but not just practicing, imitating. Okay? It's not a shame to imitate people. You know, Mom always used to say, be a leader, not a follower. But Mom was only partly right. because every great leader is a follower too. Okay. So, you know, practice is good, but we have to imitate people. So imitate Victor, imitate things you hear me say. I made a little tape. Okay. You know, you remember the 80s, we had mixtapes. You'd get a new tape. You buy, let's say you go to Walmart and you'd buy the new hit single, and you'd come home and you'd have to make a whole new tape of mixtape, you know, because you had to add that single into the new mixtape. I don't know why we're talking about that. Imitate Victor, imitate me. Oh, I made a tape of some of these objections and overcoming these objections and stuff. And I listened to it, and it's just a tape of those, and I'll play it, you know, a couple, 2 or 3 times. And it really helps, guys. So to imitate those things, When you were a little bitty baby, you looked up and you saw your mom and your dad or whoever, and they were walking around, and you were just crawling around, scooting on your butt. And you decided one day, I'm going to imitate them. And so you stood up, right? And then next thing you walked, you imitated them. That's why I talk the way I do, because my mom and dad, you know, put me around people and I just imitated them. Okay. You know what I mean? So imitation is how you've been learning your whole life. This is no different. Role play tomorrow. Imitate what you hear and see in your business. Okay. When we do marketing and I show you how to get leads, just imitate it. Just copy it. Okay. Don't reinvent it. Just copy it. All right. Any questions, guys? Anything? Sorry, I've been kind of long-winded a little bit. You know me.
Before we go, Justin.
Yeah.
And I think I said something about this before. The issue that I keep running into is when I have my VA to call the sellers off of the REI automated.
Yeah.
Which is coming from Zillow, right? So every time, not every time, but the majority of the time, it's like they get an attitude because they don't even want to answer like any questions or really have any type of conversation, because they keep saying, where everything is on Zillow, just make an offer. Everything is on Zillow. Like, how do you overcome that?
Yeah. You know, that's a great question. Everything's on Zillow. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of a funny kind of guy. I mean, before I spend $100,000, I like to ask a few questions. I mean, I know there's a lot on Zillow and you worked hard to build that ad, but if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Okay. If they're still insistent, you know, okay, well, that's fine. I'm probably the most serious buyer you've talked to, but if you don't have time for questions, I don't have time for guess games either. So I guess we can call this over. Is that right?
Okay. So then basically,
you know what I mean?
VA to say that.
Well, your VA, you know, you just have to practice with them, but that's the only way I know to get through, you know. Virtual assistants, it's hard for them because they like to play the nicey nice game. Mm-hmm. They like to play that nicey nice game. And, oh, hi, how are you? How are you doing? You know, you good? Oh, I'm good too. And weather's good. And oh, your kids. And, you know, shit. Mm-hmm. You know, that's okay. But you got to train them a little bit to be a little more professional than that. That's customer service. This is not technically customer service. It's a customer service type of call, but this is more of a sales fact-finding call. So if they're not getting the information, they are failing you. That's the problem, right? So we have to break them through that nicey nice stuff into just getting right into it. Or maybe you just take on those calls and call them yourself. You know, I don't know. Call them back, you know. That's the part about working with virtual assistants that can be tricky, is they're not always bad at English or bad at understanding what's going on, but they're not always the salesman you want, you know, and that's unfortunately the way that it works. You got to train them, you got to work with them, or you just got to find somebody else. I know that's not great news, but
Yeah, it's not. Well,
I eventually ended up with a Canadian virtual assistant because, you know, I want somebody who knows business and can hit somebody on the phone like that. You know what I mean? I ended up having to go that way. All right. So, you know, you may just be crutching along a little with someone until you can snag a deal or two and then fix the problem with better people. I hate to say it, but your business is only as good as the people that run it.
right, right.
Right? You know,
Yeah, I
and we don't
understand.
think about that. What were you going to say, LaShonda?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I mean, that's been a challenge, and
Yeah.
part of it is because she's not an American, so you know she don't quite understand. It's kind of like with them, it's ABC, and that's all they know is ABC. And if D
Exactly.
gets thrown in there, it just throws them
Yeah.
completely off. They don't know what to
Exactly.
do from that point.
Exactly. Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. I say it differently, but you've nailed it. Yeah. They are, you have to make it crystal clear. I say it like this with a Philippine virtual assistant or some other foreign country, not Western hemisphere. It's not 1 plus 4 equals 5. It's 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus
Right,
1 plus 1 equals 5.
right,
Okay. And I'm not saying they don't know math. I'm saying when you give instructions, that's how you have to do it. Otherwise, 1 plus 4 ends up being 3 or 7 or 9 or something different, you know? Yeah.
yep, makes sense.
And that's not a derogatory thing. It's a cultural thing. It's they don't know what we need and what we want. It's we hired the wrong people with the wrong skill sets, or we don't know how to manage them, and we're growing and changing ourselves too. And a lot of times, how many of you have a virtual assistant in here and you've caught yourself every freaking day giving them some kind of new instructions? You know, working for that kind of person would suck. You have to ask yourself, does working for me suck? Okay, because I've been that guy. Hey, you know, today I need you to do this. No, yesterday we were doing that, but we're switching up and we're gonna, you know, like fuck. That's what that guy's thinking. You know, fuck. What is this? Another thing? Okay, think through it, guys. Think through it. That's all. Eventually, I did hire a Canadian. $10 an hour turns into $12.50 for them. Okay, kind of like the Philippines, but not as much. Okay, so $12.50 for them. So it's not a bad deal. You know, somebody little part-time gig. The guy I ended up hiring had had experience as a banker. Okay, in the banking industry. All right. So he knows what an office looks like. He knows how to type. He knows how to check emails. He knows spreadsheets. He knows numbers. He knows how a house works. He knows, you know, he knows how a sales phone call works. And I still have to train and teach and teach and train and work and help and assist. And okay, that's life. Sorry, I went on and on again. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up? I love you guys. Practice with us tomorrow, okay? Role play and imitate, okay? Practice and imitate. Love you guys. Anything else before we wrap up?
Thank you so much. Good call.
Okay.
Thanks,
Okay.
Justin.
Okay.
Thank you.
Love you guys. We'll see you later. Have a good one. Thank you,
Thank you,
Errol.
you
Thanks,
too.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Malesio, Steve, Joe, Anthony, Marvin, and everybody's dropping out. LaShonda, thank you. You always help out so much. And Rosalind, too. And Philip, Errol, Addie, Lou.
Thank you.
Lou, I hope this made sense for you today. Did it help a little bit? The offers and all that stuff? Or are you still confused, Lou? Are you confused, Lou? Just a little bit? Okay. We'll eventually get you there, brother. We're going to get you there, man. All right. I'll see you guys. Have a great rest of your